Hello, my gorgeous friends of Webflow. It's your friendly neighborhood Francesco from Subasider here. Today, we're revisiting one of the most popular solutions I shared a couple of years ago, the Infinite Marquee with Stop on Hover. Over time, I received tons of interesting feedback, suggestions on what could be improved, what could be added, and today I'm super excited to show you how all of these ideas, plus a few extra twists, have come together in this brand new version. Just like before, from the user's perspective, this solution is completely no code. You won't need to touch a single line of JavaScript. Everything is configured directly through attributes in Webflow. And of course, you still have right to left and left to right support for the animation of the marquee, 100% compatibility with Webflow's native animations and interactions and with Webflow's CMS, the ability to set up multiple instances on the same page, and default values for super fast configuration. But now, with the new update, you will also get smooth pause on hover, breakpoint sensitive speed for full responsiveness, toggle pause on hover on or off, an amazing dragging functionality that you could turn on or off, the ability of styling the active element inside the marquee. And yeah, that's pretty cool, right? And if you're looking forward to it as much as I am, stick around. And if you find my video helpful and want to support my work, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. But now, if you're ready, let's dive in. Alright, let's start with the first example, a marquee built with static slides. We're not building everything from scratch this time. I've already prepared a Webflow project with two sections, one for this example and another for the CMS version we'll check out later. Let's quickly look at the structure of the first section. First, we have our usual section with the class section, and here the key thing is that we've set the overflow to hidden. That way, if the marquee content is wider than the viewport, we avoid nasty horizontal scrolling. Inside the section, there's a main container, nothing special here, and inside it a section content wrapper with a combo class called Splide. This is the starting point for the Splide library to build a marquee, so the name of this class is mandatory. Other than that, no special styling here, but several important attributes are applied, but we'll get back to those in a minute. Still inside the wrapper, first there's an H2 heading. Not essential for the marquee, but it's great for accessibility, but we will see why later. Then we have a div with the class Splide_track. This class name is mandatory for Splide to work properly. Inside the track, we have an unordered list with the class Splide_list. Again, very important, the name of this class is mandatory as well. Also, we picked an unordered list and not just a div block to support proper accessibility. Looking at the style of the Splide list, we removed bullet points, set the display to flex, zeroed out margins and padding, and added a will change transform property to improve animation performance. Inside the list, we find our list items with the class Splide_slide. No need to say this time, right? Yep, the name of this class must be Splide_slide. Here, we made sure to set the flex child to don't shrink or grow, so the items don't resize awkwardly within the flex parent. Also, instead of using flex gap, we added 1 VH of horizontal padding directly to the slides. This is because using the gap property could cause weird issues with the scrolling animation. Then for demo purposes, I also set the height of each slide to 40 VH. Because we're going to customize the look of the active slide to make it stand out, I also set the opacity to 70%, the grayscale filter to 30%, and because we want the transition to the active state to happen nicely and smoothly, I also added a transition for the transform. We're going to scale the slide up, the opacity and the filter properties. 300 milliseconds is in function of ease. Now, inside each slide, there's an image with the class Splide_image. And don't worry, this time the name of the class is not mandatory. Width is set to auto, height to 100%, and we added a nice soft box shadow just for some extra flair. And because I wanted to show you that the marquee works seamlessly with Webflow's native animations, each image also has a simple hover interaction. On hover, it moves downward by 1 rem, over 1 second with a beautiful ease out quint easing. On hover out, it slides back up to the original position, same duration, same easing. Alright, now let's talk about configuration. All the configuration happens by adding attributes to the Splide element. And remember, none of these attributes are strictly required. I made sure there are sensible defaults in case you want to keep things super simple. First attribute, fc-marquee-speed. It defines how fast the marquee moves. Positive numbers move it left to right, negative numbers move it right to left. It's expressed in pixels per frame, which might sound a bit weird, but the default speed is 1, which should give you a clear reference. In this first example, I set fc-marquee-speed to -1, so the marquee moves from right to left. And it gets better. You can set different speeds for different breakpoints using fc-marquee-name of the mobile breakpoint-speed. For this first example, we changed both landscape and portrait speeds, leaving desktop and tablet on the base speed. Another big upgrade in this version is the ability to style the active slide differently. And here's the trick. We don't want to manually add a combo class to slides on the page because Splide will handle that for us. Instead, we set it up inside the style guide. Here we have a copy of the Splide_slide element with a combo class is-active. And by the way, the class name, you already guessed it, isn't random. It must be exactly is-active because that's the class Splide uses internally. With is-active, we set the opacity to 100%, remove any grayscale filter, scale the slide up slightly to 1.05, and to make sure it stays on top, if it overlaps adjacent slides, we set position to relative and set index to 1. Super simple, super effective. Now, let's publish the project. And take a look. The marquee scrolls smoothly. The active slide has its custom styling. Hovering over the images triggers the down slide animation. Hovering over the marquee causes a smooth slowdown, and when we move the cursor out, it picks up speed again. Finally, dragging works beautifully too. And if we open responsive view, we can see how the speed changes when moving from tablet to landscape, then to portrait. Everything is working exactly as intended. Now, let's jump to the second section, a CMS-powered marquee. The structure is basically the same. Section, main container, section content wrapper with Splide class. The differences are in how we set up the other Splide elements. Splide_track is applied to the list wrapper. Splide_list goes to the collection list. Splide_slide goes to each collection item. And for the CMS version, I added a combo class cc-cms to tweak the design a little bit. Slides don't have a fixed height anymore. They adjust based on the image proportions. Images inside slides are also styled slightly differently, with 25 VW, height auto. Hover interactions, still there, still working perfectly. Now, let's check the attributes applied to the Splide wrapper. No fc-marquee-speed this time, so we are using the default speed of 1. fc-marquee-landscape-speed is set to 0.5, And new attributes you didn't see before: fc-marquee-enable-drag set to false, disabling dragging. Then fc-marquee-enable-pose set to false, disabling pause on hover. Let's publish and check the live page. Marquee scrolling is smooth. Okay, that was easy. Active slide styling is working. Easy as well. Now, hovering on the images triggers animations, okay, but doesn't pause the marquee. Dragging? Totally disabled, just as we wanted. Again, switching between breakpoints, the speed adjusts exactly as configured. One last important thing: accessibility. Let's go back to the first example. To make the marquee accessible, we need to provide a label. If you have a visible heading you want to use as a label, like the H2 we added earlier, you can add an area-labeled by attribute to the Splide element, with a value matching the heading's ID. In our case, area-labeled by equals carousel-heading, with ID equals carousel heading on the heading. If there's no visible label, like in our second CMS example, you can simply add an area-label attribute instead, like area-label Infinite Marquee example. All the JavaScript magic that makes this marquee work lives inside the page settings in the before body tag section. I've added comments inside the script to explain what's happening, but again, you don't need to touch anything. Just copy, paste, use attributes to configure everything, and enjoy. Enjoy your marquee. And at the bottom of the page, you'll find a neat little guide summarizing all the attributes you can use. And that's it. Today we saw how to bring an infinite marquee to life in Webflow. More powerful, more customizable, and still no code for you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more Webflow tips and tricks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Matane!